Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel Mzansi Daily Update, your go-to source for in-depth analysis and commentary on the latest political developments in South Africa. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a like if you find this content helpful, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Let's get into today's story, one that directly affects every South African's pocket. President Cyril Ramaphosa has made a sobering admission that has sent ripples across the country. Speaking at a recent South African Chamber of Commerce and Industry (SACCI) event, the president stated that it is highly improbable that the National Treasury will be able to reverse the controversial increase in value-added tax, or VAT, from 14% to 15%. This comes despite growing pressure from civil society, business leaders, and struggling citizens who continue to feel the pinch of rising costs. Let's rewind for a moment. Back in April 2018, South Africans woke up to the news that VAT had officially increased to 15%. It was the first hike in the democratic era and came as part of a package of austerity measures aimed at rescuing the country's collapsing fiscal position. The government was staring down the barrel of a widening budget deficit, slow GDP growth, and ballooning national debt. Treasury had few options left, and raising VAT, which contributes massively to the state's revenue, seemed like the quickest fix. But as many feared, the move hit poor and working-class South Africans the hardest. Prices on essential goods and services crept up. Families already grappling with unemployment, low wages, and high living costs now had to stretch their budgets even thinner. Despite government assurances that the revenue from the VAT increase would support critical services like healthcare, education, and social grants, many South Africans say they've seen little to no improvement in their daily lives. Fast forward to 2025, and frustrations are once again boiling over. In his address to SACCI, President Ramaphosa acknowledged the outcry, saying he understands that many people and businesses are deeply concerned about the VAT increase. However, he stressed that the economic realities facing South Africa make it nearly impossible to reverse the decision. The decision was made because we felt it was necessary to address our financial challenges and strengthen our financial position, Ramaphosa stated. And this raises serious questions about whether the government is truly listening to its people or simply reacting to economic pressure from ratings agencies and international investors. While Treasury has defended the VAT hike as a difficult but necessary measure, critics say it's a lazy solution that targets the wrong people. VAT is a regressive tax, meaning it hits everyone the same, regardless of income. So a domestic worker earning R3,000 a month pays the same VAT percentage on bread and milk as a millionaire CEO. That's not just unfair, it's economically damaging to the most vulnerable sectors of society. Many economists, unions, and civic organizations argue that the government should explore progressive alternatives. Why not increase personal income tax for the wealthy? Why not close loopholes exploited by large corporations? Why not cut wasteful spending and tackle the corruption bleeding billions from state-owned enterprises? South Africans have every right to question where the money is going. Let's not forget, this is a country where Eskom receives massive bailouts while load shedding continues to paralyze the economy. Where SAA has been kept afloat despite years of mismanagement. Where millions are spent on government perks, travel, and luxury vehicles while clinics in rural areas go without basic medicine. So when ordinary citizens are asked to dig deeper into their pockets, the trust deficit only grows wider. And now, with Ramaphosa ruling out a reversal of the VAT hike, the government is at a crossroads. On one hand, they must demonstrate fiscal responsibility and ensure the budget deficit doesn't spiral out of control. On the other hand, they must also protect the dignity and livelihoods of the people who elected them, especially during a time when unemployment is at a staggering high and food inflation is punishing households across the country. The president's statement also raises political stakes as we inch closer to national elections. Opposition parties are seizing the opportunity to portray the ANC as out of touch with the everyday struggles of citizens. The EFF, DA, and smaller parties have all spoken out strongly against the VAT hike, with some calling for a complete overhaul of South Africa's tax system. Even within the ANC alliance, murmurs of discontent are growing louder. COSATU and the SACCI have consistently called for a more people-centered economic strategy and are unlikely to support another round of austerity that places the burden on workers and the poor. So where do we go from here? Experts suggest that instead of relying on regressive taxes, the government should focus on rebuilding the economy from the ground up. That means fixing Eskom, boosting investor confidence, supporting small businesses, and investing in infrastructure projects that create jobs. It also means improving tax collection systems, closing loopholes, and cracking down on tax evasion, especially by politically connected elites and large multinational corporations. At the end of the day, Ramaphosa's admission is a reality check. It shows how tight the fiscal space really is, but also highlights the need for smarter, more equitable economic strategies. As citizens, we have the right to demand accountability. We must keep asking, where is our money going? How is it being spent? And most importantly, what is the plan to make life more affordable and dignified for the average South African? We'll be following this story closely as it develops, especially in the lead-up to elections, where economic policy will be a hot-button issue. Thanks for tuning in to Nzansi Daily Update. If you found this analysis helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. Do you think the VAT hike was justified? What alternatives should the government consider? We want to hear from you. See you next time.